I call myself a fine art and fashion photographer, and I feel like I'm not too much one or the other, because fine art for me is my origin and the lens through which I look at fashion, and it's my way of being able to carve a vision of something that comes from a part of my mind that is interested in story, that is interested in imagination. When I first started taking pictures, what interested me the most were exciting things: colour, outfit, locations, and it was very subconscious at times. Like I would notice like a parallel between shapes in the composition. So it's a weird one, because out of all the photography genres, fashion is the most contrived and one that takes the most effort, the most production. And so you have to boil all those ingredients down to something that looks very effortless. And it's a craft, it's an art that I'm still discovering with more and more fascination as I go on.
We are in Basildon shooting the brochure for the new Nikon D810. Behind me is a very elaborate semi-submerged set. We are recreating a dream sequence between a sleeping model and her mermaid counterpart.
The mission critical was to get pictures in camera. That is going to be the final product, right through to the little effects that I would otherwise maybe have done in Photoshop.
We like to show a lot of drama in our images. We're trying to sort of portray almost a movie still. It's very elaborate models, nice locations, strong lighting, high production.
Working with the D810 was just brilliant, especially with so many props and fabrics and styling going on in the pictures. The sharpness, the detail really comes through in the images that I've shot, particularly in such a colourful, vibrant situation. Ino Park is this amazing house in the middle of Oxfordshire in the United Kingdom. And it's full of all these works of art, taxidermy and props, all very eccentric, related to British culture. And we're shooting a concept of the White Witch awakening. And in these images, we're conveying this narrative of the model, who is this white witch unlocking animals from a spell. And we've got images where she's also playing with shadows and playing with props around the very surreal location that we're shooting in here.
I'm really excited because it broadens the horizons creatively, because have you seen this? That's what I always wanted to do, create over-the-top shoots, and she's not afraid to think big. Well, everything has to be right because there is no Photoshop involved, and that makes it extra challenging, but also exciting, especially working with a camera like this, because the resolution is so high.
Hold up.
The dynamic range of the camera in this shot is absolutely perfect, because it's a very contrasting shot with obviously the strong shadow. The dynamic range fills in lots of the details which would normally be lost, and really giving me full control of creating some beautiful theatrical shadows and creating a magical picture. Hopefully the cloud's going to break up a bit quicker.
So this is what I consider to be the main shot of this whole setup in terms of the grandness of the composition, with as much as we can find from around the house put into the frame, and then to have the live animal in the middle of the frame amongst all the stuffed animals. I think being a photographer is like conducting an orchestra or directing a movie. You've got all these moving parts that you have to capture the best glimpse of everything. Often I find myself trying to direct a vision, someone suggests something and it's slightly different from the vision I intended, but then I go with it and I see a spark of something interesting. Usually that spark relates to seeing something in the camera that suggests to me how that picture can transcend reality, how it can look, for example, more painterly, how it can look more cinematic, how it can just go beyond the simple, banal idea of a model standing in front of the camera. The shoots that we've been doing have had lots of challenges throughout them to do with the subjects that we're shooting, including not just the models but the live animals, and obviously shooting with water and props and all these variables. Using the D810 has allowed me to be able to just have this constant throughout that whole process, to have a camera that's so reliable, that's putting forward images in high quality, and it's been really rewarding to work with the technical boundaries and the challenges throughout the two shoots, because it's allowed me to have those boundaries to push against creatively. For me as a photographer, I feel like there still has to be the spark of magic that comes along in the process at some point that makes me feel like this is what I should be doing and I'm on the right path in my life. It can be the choice of location, the choice of styling and model, and then shooting, you want to capture the magical sparks that come from fusing those ingredients together, but also those things that you may not have foreseen that have occurred and that go toward producing a really spellbinding result.